take a look at the latest NBA trade rumors here. We will start things off with Kawhi, fittingly so. Spurs and Kawhi beyond repair.
You know what? I gotta point something out here. We're giving this one 3 heads, and Bruce Bowen, the former, all-time great NBA player, brought something up really interesting, saying that as of right now, Kawhi is a puppet. And I was gonna bring in a sock to kind of do a little puppet skit with Kawhi Leonard. I completely agree with Bruce Bowen. There is no way that Kawhi Leonard is making his own decisions right now. Whether it's his uncle that is throwing him for a loop, whether it's his group that is throwing him for a loop, every single thing that we have heard happen to Kawhi Leonard so far this season has been completely against every single thing that we have known or have ever known about Kawhi Leonard and his attitude towards basketball and life in general. None of this makes sense. We never should have seen this much of a catastrophe between one of the quietest and most respectful players in the NBA and one of the quietest and most respectful franchises in the NBA. I don't understand how this has come to the point that it's come to. I don't think this is coming from Kawhi Leonard. I think he has way too many people in his ear giving him bad information. I think this is someone else's opinion. I think he's being used like a puppet to get someone else's money or to fill someone else's ideology. There's no way that this is 100% coming from Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
I don't believe that for a second.
Potential trade here, Kawhi to Boston. Here's a rundown of what could happen. Yeah.
I changed my trade again. I originally had it as Marcus Smart. I had too many people yell at me that there's no way that the Spurs are going to do this unless they get Jaylen Brown. Fine. I gave them Jaylen Brown. They also have Terry Rozier, Marcus Morris, Gershon Yabusele, and 2 of the 2019 firsts. Make it 3 of the 2019 firsts if you want to. The Celtics will give them up for Kawhi Leonard. And then look at this lineup. By the way, our brand new lineup projection graphic. It's beautiful. Hope you all love it. We spend a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into making this beautiful. Look at that lineup. Kyrie, Kawhi Leonard, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, and Jason Tatum. And as you see there at the bottom, newly acquired Brad Wanamaker, the EuroLeague superstar from Fenerbahce. Good signing by the Celtics. But that's what the lineup would look like with Kawhi. By the way, if you're wondering why it says $18.8 million and he doesn't have the max next to his name, that Kawhi Leonard max extension would not come into play until the next season after that. So this season, he's getting paid $18.8 million no matter what.
All right. So
that's a championship team right there, by the way.
That's a very compelling lineup, Harris.
That team beats the Warriors, by the way.
Let's go to rumor number 2 here. The Hawks tried to move Dennis Schroder.
Again, yes. They've been trying to move him all offseason. 4 heads. Do you know they almost traded him while we were live on air? Remember that? It was like...
That's not surprising.
You remember? No, we actually went through it. Remember, apparently they traded him to the Suns, and the Suns taking Dante DiVincenzo, and then they didn't take him, and then the Bucks took him, and then the Hawks, and there was this crazy trade that was going on. So apparently what happened is that the Hawks and the Bucks had a trade, Cam. The Bucks were about to call in the trade, and then Shams cucked the Hawks by leaking what the Bucks were going to pick. And instead of making the trade, the Hawks just said, all right, the Bucks are taking Dante DiVincenzo. We're just going to take Kevin Huerter. So no Hawks trade with the Bucks. And now we still have Dennis Schroder on the board. And I've been holding on to this trade the entire offseason. I still think it's what happens. I think the Hawks trade away Dennis Schroder. I think they pick up a John Henson and DJ Wilson in a trade. It's a good move for the Hawks. They get a nice center to come in to play next to Amari Spellman and John Collins. DJ Wilson's a nice one as well. And the Bucks get Dennis Schroder. It's a good trade all around. Everyone's happy. Look, Dennis Schroder is not worth a lot at this point. He's really not.
Really?
No, not at all. Getting paid way too much money. He's not actually that good. He's going to be a good 6th man on a playoff team someday.
All right, next up here, the Wizards trying to trade Marcin Gortat. 4 heads. This is obvious.
Yeah, not trying to trade, are hourly trading, so much so that Marcin Gortat has already said that there's a 99% chance that he's going to get traded and that the decision has already been made by the front office that he's going to get traded.
So it's happening.
So it's happening. I think he's going to get traded. Look, the Wizards need to move him. They need to get a new center rotation. I think he's going to get traded to Dallas Mavericks. I like this trade a lot. I think that it would give the Mavs a really good, consistent guy down low. It would allow them to move Dorian Finney-Smith because they have way too many guards right now with Doncic and Smith Jr., Yogi Ferrell, J.J. Barea. They obviously picked up Jalen Brunson in the draft as well. So a lot of different options for them and what they're going to be able to do this offseason. I think that in terms of Marcin Gortat and his fit with the Mavs, it makes a lot of sense for them. And also, I mean, look at that lineup. Dennis Smith Jr., Luka Doncic, Harrison Barnes, Marcin Gortat, and Dirk. Not listed as Wesley Matthews, who I think will end up getting traded this offseason.
Is that a playoff
as
team?
Well, no.
Okay.
No, it's not a playoff team. It's a playoff team if they get Julius Randle or an Aaron Gordon or maybe DeMarcus Cousins or DeAndre Jordan. But with just Marcin Gortat, not quite. Not quite a playoff team.
How about the Raptors? Are they blowing it up, Paris?
Yes. Please do. Please. It's time to blow it up. You just traded away the coach of the year. You were the #1 seed in the East. You almost won 60 games. You still got swept out by LeBron. But at this point, I'm only going to give it 2 heads. I want them to blow it up. You want them to blow it up. The Ringer wants them to blow it up. Everyone wants them to blow it up. It's just a matter of whether or not Toronto will actually.
They already fired their coach, so why not continue the trend?
I don't really understand why they haven't blown it up yet. I would have made a draft night trade and gotten rid of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. I don't know why they didn't do one of those things. We knew that they were trying to trade into the top 10 for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They didn't end up doing it. So now the best trade that's on the board, still DeMar straight up for Andrew Wiggins. Now,
I like it.
We have gotten more and more YouTube comments complimenting me for how amazing of a trade this is. By the way, thank you. I know it's a great trade. Please let it happen. And also, from the Raptors standpoint, this is a great move. You get to bring back all your young players. You keep OG Anunoby, and you add Andrew Wiggins, who, look, you're bringing back to Toronto. I think he'll be great at either the 2 or the 3 for them. He'll be allowed to grow in that system. I would love this move for Andrew Wiggins and the Toronto Raptors. I think it'd be a great trade all around. They get rid of the 3 years left on DeRozan's deal. At his age, they don't really need it. And for Wiggins, it's just he needs a change of scenery, and I like that one a lot. And for DeMar DeRozan, I mean, look at that lineup. That is a top 4 seed in the West kind of lineup. Perfect fit next to Jimmy Butler, who gets to switch to a more natural position on the wing rather than playing the 2 and having their weird spacing with Andrew Wiggins and Taj Gibson that literally gave me the heebie-jeebies. Now they put it to DeMar DeRozan, who's just a way better fit on this team, and he's the perfect combo with Tom Thibodeau. I love this trade. I think it's great for both sides. You also drafted Josh Okogie, who can be a great backup to DeMar DeRozan. I almost want to call up the front offices of the T-Wolves and the Raptors and tell them to do this. Don't tweet at them to do this because, by the way, the more you tweet at a team to do something, it doesn't increase the likelihood of doing it. I hate when people do that, especially Mets fans who kept telling the Mets Twitter account to sign Yoenis Cespedes when they couldn't do anything, seeing as it's the Mets Twitter account. Now we're going to do the same thing with NBA Twitter accounts. Please don't do it. I hate this.
All right, let's take a look at the Pacers now. Do they want a blockbuster trade to go down? 2 heads in the rumor category.
Well, I don't know if the Pacers want a blockbuster move, as if I think they're going to be forced into a blockbuster move, which is why we're giving this one 2 heads so far. Look, in terms of what the Pacers can do this offseason, they just declined the option that they had for Lance Stevenson. They're going to have a lot of money in free agency if they move around certain players. They could get rid of Al Jefferson and open up more space. They can open up a lot of space and get up to $30 million cap space and open up a max contract spot. Maybe they make a run at anyone at power forward, maybe an Aaron Gordon or Julius Randle or a Clint Capella, something like that. I think they make a move for a shooting guard. I know that they already have Victor Oladipo. He just won Most Improved Player last year. But with the way that the Pacers have been kind of creating their team over the past couple of years, they're going to like to go small. And I think that picking up C.J. McCollum from the Blazers would be a great pick for them. They pick up a point guard as a distributor. They also pick up they also have Victor Oladipo. You add C.J. McCollum, maybe you go down low with a smaller guy and you have Miles Turner at the 5. I think that the Pacers would make this trade in a second. And if you're the Blazers, it also allows you to stretch out your cap a little bit, add a couple young players and a first-round pick next year, plus you get rid of McCollum's and Evan Turner's contract. I think that's a good trade for both sides. I don't know if the Trailblazers end up being a better team with that, but they have to figure out their cap situation somehow, and that gives them a ton of relief.
Speaking of cap situations, are the Knicks going to make some moves here, Harris?
Hold on, I got to answer a comment. MD Abdullah says that Taj Gibson will space the floor. Taj Gibson has never spaced any floor in his entire life. That is not happening. Anyway, yes, the Knicks want to trade away all non-1-year or rookie deals. 3 heads on this one. That means Courtney Lee is in trouble. Joakim Noah is in trouble. That's why I think that Enes Kanter ended up declining his player option. So the Knicks want to shed all of their contracts with a year plus left because they're trying to set themselves up for the 2019 offseason. So I think they end up making a move with the Atlanta Hawks. They trade away Noah and Courtney Lee along with the 2020 first. They get back a 1-year contract, an expiring deal on Mike Muscala, and they get a 2019 second back. If you're the Hawks, you get a nice center, or an okay center in Noah, a good shooting guard in Courtney Lee who can help develop the likes of Kevin Huerter and Trae Young. You get a first-round pick as well that you know will end up turning into a real first. So I like what the Hawks could end up doing with this trade. I like what the Knicks could end up doing with this trade. Works well for both sides, and it fills a bunch of needs.